Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks. Jay the Hungry Gamer is back with another episode of Boards and Brews, and I am again joined by occasional regular co-host Original Don, co-designer of Backyard Chickens, one of the top-ranked chicken games on BGG.
There's no data to back that up right now.
Yeah, there is.
Hello,
I,
all.
I actually checked. I went and I
Did you
checked.
really?
I did. I typed in chicken, and all the ones that came up, I looked at the overall ranking. And so I think it's number 2, actually.
And then you tried flock and hen and egg just to be safe.
No. That's a lot of work. All right. That is a lot of it. Look, I'm doing this like my students do, one pass, and that is fact. So, as I said, one of the top chicken games on BGG, original Don Gilstrap. So,
Hello, all.
anyhow, jumping right in, what is your brewed beverage today?
Well, it's morning, so I'm drinking an Americano
Ooh,
out of my
classy.
yellow cup.
And I'm just drinking whatever the new coffee from the Coffee of the Month Club that we get. Last Black Friday, I got for my wife for Christmas the Coffee of the Month Club, and I always look when they come in, but I always forget. But anyhow, and I'm drinking it out of my Shakespearean insult mug again. And Don, today you are the veriest varlet that ever chewed with a tooth.
All right, that tracks.
Okay, yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So I just wanted you to know that. But so anyhow, so today we're going to be talking a bit about, as always, the stuff that we've been playing, what we got coming next, and we thought we'd do something a little bit different, and it's mostly because, well, there's a project that I kind of want to bump a little bit, but I kind of miss our old show that we did, the dialing it in, and so just kind of bring it back, but talking about the Kickstarters or Game Founds or backer, not backer kits. I've never backed a backer kit. Have you done a backer kit game yet? No,
Let's
yeah,
count pledge managers, but no.
yeah,
No,
no, yeah.
I don't even know what projects have been on BackerKit.
Yeah, well, apparently, I think Leader Games is using it now. But anyhow, not the point. The
Okay.
ones that we're backing right now, and this video and the podcast is going to release on Saturday or Sunday, and so everything on here will have at least 1 or 2 days left, so you can still get in on it. Is how it did, which is good because I had a real bad month. Like I backed a lot of stuff, but a lot of them are already over, so I don't have to talk about them. But we're not there yet. So jumping in, Don, what have you been playing? Oh, you've been playing a lot of stuff recently, so I'm gonna let you go first on this one. What have you been playing recently?
Yeah, so I haven't been to like getting together with a group as much lately. So I've gotten in some lighter fare. Played a Fistful of Maples, which is a classic around here. Just last night with a couple of the kids, and that's a Johnny Pack game. It's a small, under 45 minutes kind of game where you're doing a Moncala thing around an Old West town, a street in an Old West town, and collecting goods out of a bag, and trying to claim buildings around the street and scoring points that way. You have shootouts. You have a madam that can tempt all the workers to the hotel. What's the other big thing? Oh, there's a jailbreak. There are robbers that you can
Yeah,
do
because you can
things to
be
rob
the
this.
sheriff too, and you can arrest the robbers
Yeah,
and the
so you can
robbers who
arrest the
robbed the
robbers,
gold
send them to
miners.
jail.
Yeah,
Yep. And then if you break the robbers out of jail, that puts dynamite in the bag. And if all the dynamite comes out, the game ends. If the graveyard fills up from shootouts, the game ends. If all the gold bars are claimed, game ends. So it's got multiple game endings. It's a fun game.
yeah.
It it uh it, it comes out now and then. The kids recommended it last night because it's on my 10 by 10 for this year, which I'm failing horribly at.
Yeah, so
But at least we've got a few of that.
let's just check in on this right now. We'll check in again on the last episode I have you on of the year. How's it looking?
Okay.
How's the 10 by 10 looking?
Dismal. The one game that's got any real numbers is Silver and Gold, which takes about 10 minutes to play.
Well, do you have
But
10
it's
of
the
those at least?
8. I
Oh,
think that's right. So I need 2 more of those. Wayfarers of the South Tigris is on there because I like that game. It just doesn't get to the table and it has yet to be played. under the
Yeah.
10 by 10 at least. I've played it 4 times, but haven't gotten it back to the table. And the second game in that series just arrived this week, so I need to get going on that. I'm looking up at my whiteboard here. The Abandon All Artichokes is on there. There's only a handful of plays of that, even though that takes like 5 minutes to play. Lock and Key, Dwellings of Eldervale, which you'd think I'd be playing all the time, but just again haven't been getting together with game groups lately. And when you do, you want to play the new thing, and so
Yep.
I don't know. It's a lot of things that they're not the new hotness, and so I put them on the 10 by 10 so we would play them more, and it's not been working, but
Just haven't.
I'm still
But
hopeful.
it sounded like it was going to be nice and easy at the beginning of the year, huh?
I don't know. It was a challenge, but I thought you know putting them on a list would make me do it, and so far that hasn't played out.
Not at all. Oh, I thought you at least had the silver and gold by now.
You would think.
Well, you know,
Maybe
you
we'll
can
play it
still.
twice this weekend and get it done.
There you go. And maybe you can just play 10 solo games of Wayfarers and get that done too, right?
I've thought about doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I'm not a great solo player. It's when I'm just want to play something by myself, I end up at the PlayStation.
yeah.
But I really should be sitting down doing board games.
Yeah, no more screen time for you, Don. You
Okay,
gotta you gotta limit your screen time as we're sitting in front of a screen. All right,
that's
so
all
but
right.
yeah, but Fistful of Maples, that's always a fun one. My wife enjoys that one a lot. And I don't remember, did you try out the new expansion stuff at KublaCon?
Yeah, there was some fun stuff there.
Yeah,
Like, it's one of
with
those
the
games, like,
dog and the
you
ghost.
play it
Yeah.
yeah, you play it and it doesn't need anything, but if you've played it a million times, the expansion stuff would give you some fun little twists.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to getting that whenever all the new Coloma stuff arrives.
mhm,
So first one I'm talking about, it's a little bit of a cheat here because I forgot the last time we recorded, which was over a month ago because I've been traveling. I meant to talk about this, and then I forgot to talk about it. So this one's a little bit of a cheat. It was actually recently played last month, but that is the spill from Smirk and Dagger. And I guess they have had two relatively recent crisis management games come out, and the second being Tesseract, which I backed it. I haven't played it yet, but I believe you have. But this is one before that
yeah.
where you are cleaning up and trying to stop an oil spill of a. It's called a derrick. Is that what it is? An oil derrick? Is that what it's called when it's out in the sea?
Platform.
Oil platform. Right.
Yeah,
So oil platform spilling, Exxon Valdez style. Nope, because that's not. That was a ship. I
that
guess
was a
BP
ship.
style. BP style. Is that the one?
Yeah,
All right, so
yeah.
BP style.
Th This is why I was not interested in that game. It's a tragedy where you can point to a name and say, "Hey, I remember this happening in my lifetime."
Yeah,
It's
and
too
that that
much. I
that
don't know
that,
why. I
that was like
don't know why
instant that I came up with two of those. Like,
Yeah, I don't know why Pandemic can be fun. It just seems abstracted, but then you play something like Spill, and it feels a little too real
yeah, and so
for
that was
me, though.
actually why originally I wasn't interested in playing it, and I'm going to actually talk about it in a minute. In a minute, but so you have this big old dice. It's not a tower; it's a dice dropper thing. It just bounces the dice in different directions. They land in different quadrants of the board, and that's where the oil is spilling. And you're taking your little ship meeples around the board, and you all have different powers that do different things, kind of a la Forbidden Desert type powers. And you're just kind of pushing the oil back, and you're rescuing the animals, and you're cleaning up the animals if they've been spilled on. And either you rescue enough animals and accomplish whatever the goals are, and you win, or you don't. And it's interesting. I have found this game easy. I
Mhm.
have, even on the hard levels, I have won. Though I believe it was Michael Kelly at One Stop Co-op Shop. He finds it incredibly hard, which is very interesting to me. That's just weird. Like I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, it's kind of hard. Nope. Everyone's like it's easy or it's hard. So it's very strange.
Sure.
But it is a good game in that kind of crisis management world if you can get on board with that theme. And the hard part for me is, and thankfully I keep winning, but I'm gonna be traumatized if I lose because like the poor animals. And so I took it into my classroom at the end of last year towards the end because I'm teaching seniors, and at the end of the year the last week they really don't do anything because they've already their grades are in to find out the
Mm.
graduates. They really do nothing. So I brought it in. Some students are playing. One of the types are like, "Mr. Brown, like, can we just stop playing because we're gonna lose and not feel bad?" Like
Exactly.
it's real heavy. But if you're okay with that and it doesn't bother you like it does me, it's a fun game. It's very clever, but I'm more excited about Tesseract because like I'm not like if we lose Tesseract, I think the world blows up, right? It's not the poor animals getting hurt.
S Yeah, the entire world blows up, and, definitely the animals don't die along with the rest of the world.
Right. Right. Good. Good. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, so that's the spill. It is a very clever game and it looks really cool on the table. But yeah, so that's the spill. That's my first sort of one. What's your next one?
Another one we actually just played yesterday was Sentinels of the Multiverse. This is a favorite around here that we hadn't played it in probably a couple years, and, it's one of my favorite cooperative games. There aren't a lot of opportunities for alpha gaming in this game. Everybody's playing a very distinct character, and what you achieve on a turn is kind of based on the combination of cards that you've put in play, and so it's it's unique. You're all teaming up against a bad guy, and it's all very modular. You can bring in different heroes and a different bad guy in a different environment, and it just goes in a circle, and everybody takes their turn, and you're trying to defeat the bad guy before all the heroes are defeated. And I was playing a character called I'm blanking on his name now, but his whole thing was that he's prone to bad luck, and you build up these
Setback.
unlucky yes, setback.
Yep.
So you build up these unlucky tokens, and cards will come up that you can play where you can spend those, or something bad might happen based on how many you have. Like if you have a whole lot, something bad might happen. So it's very prone to luck, but it didn't feel like absurdly random. Um,
Yeah,
it was,
he's one of actually is my favorites. Now, were you playing the original version or the second
I believe
edition
so.
version or the new one?
Oh, the original. Like, yeah, there was the new one where they just re-released everything. We didn't buy that because we'd already bought far too much content for the game. But yeah, so the original one, I love his power. Like you've got all this stuff that depends on how many unlucky tokens you have, and then his uh his power, like the core power that you can do every round potentially is take one of the or no, add one token and then play the top card of your deck. So it's going to come out and it's going to be triggered no matter what. Like you're not making the choice like you normally would. And so it can be something that's horrible, or it can be something that's amazing, or it can be something neutral. And so it's a lot of fun. And like every character is different. There's a character named Wraith she's pretty much the Batman of the game, has all kinds of devices, and there's a Raw character who's the sun god, of course. And I know I just love that game. It's not the fastest game in the world. It's not something you want to play if you want super snappy turns and want it over in an hour. It can be slow. It
Yep.
can be a grind. We were playing against the Omnitron, who the kids just refer to as dumb robot.
Oh,
It's
poor robot.
this
No wonder he went
big
evil.
it's this big monster robot that has 100 hit points, and you just have to grind at it, and it just
Yeah,
keeps throwing out other units like um, that you have to beat before you can beat him. And so anyway, it's a great game.
yeah, we
It's
love
a
that one too. We haven't done it in like a year now, but
Yeah.
there is on BGG, someone's created a campaign where
Hmm.
you're going through and it's like when like I don't remember the details, but like if one of your and you have to have all like the hero variants because if and like you unlock them as you go. It's like now when you're playing I want to say Homelander. It's not Homelander. That's the is it Patriot?
The
No, what is his
boys.
name? The main guy.
Uh, oh, I know who you're talking about. I'm blanking on it too.
Boy, this is like
Um,
real good radio here.
yeah, yeah.
But
But he's
the main
basically the
he
Superman.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's the Superman guy. But you play through and when you beat a certain combination of location and bad guy, then it's like okay, now you can use these versions of the heroes, and you're going through. And if you lose, like you will lose that version of the hero for. So we actually playing through. It's pretty fun. Played about half of it, but yeah, it's a big, really popular one here in our house too. So the next one for me is one that I played over at Tony Topper's house. He's this guy from the Secret Cabal. He's local to us, and he wanted to play War of Whispers. Is what he wanted to play, and we all invited people, and then everybody came, and then we had too many people to play War of Whispers. So we wound up playing Ankh, Gods of Egypt. That's the third in the Eric Lang, Simon, Troops on a Map, Area Control series. And for me, it's the best of the bunch because, in theory, it's fast. It did not play fast for us. We were there for like 4.5 hours playing. It was really, really long.
Hey,
Yeah, really, really long. But
that's a lot.
some people are yes, so some people are slower players, and whatever. But we still had fun. Still had fun with it. And kind of the key shtick on this game is the bottom two players, about 2/3 through the game, will merge together as one and become one uber powerful god, and kind of a way to kind of try to catch up. And that's what people either love or hate about the game. Like it's very divisive. But so playing the game and had a great time with it. And we're going through, and our buddy Matt, Streamline Matt, was down. He was playing. He's usually very, very good at these games. And I was playing a god I'd never played before, and basically it was Ptah, Ptah or whatever. And basically Ptah's the tax man. That's the power. Like every time anybody builds something, I got paid. You get paid in
Mm.
followers, so I guess you got to grind their bones to make the mortar. I don't know what's up with that, but whatever. I would get paid, and then you're unlocking these powers as you go through. So everyone becomes more and more asymmetric as you go through. And I unlock these powers that basically I could sacrifice my followers after every single fight just to get victory points. It didn't matter if I won, lost. I'm just like buying. So basically, I was a 1%er, is what I was doing. And it was really
Sure.
early I was way in last. Like something happened to where everyone had to lose points. So I was like, okay, I have no points. So winning. And I got to this all the way down on these powers, and suddenly I just started spreading out and getting into every single fight and getting my butt kicked. I think I won like one fight the whole game. And early on, Matt's like, "This is how he's gonna win," and everyone's looking like, "No, you're an idiot. He's so far down." And then suddenly, over the course of 3 turns, I just bought my way to victory. Well, meanwhile, Matt, who's really good at these games, played the worst game you've ever seen. So it was clear he was gonna merge. And he
Mhm.
just couldn't help himself. He had to get a few more points, and because he got a few more points, the way the merge works, one player keeps their points and their minis and monuments and stuff on the map, and the other one removes all of theirs.
Yeah.
But because of what he did, he kept all of his stuff on the map, which put them in a far worse position than they should have been. And had I not won the game when I did, the game has just a cutoff. Someone gets to the points, you win. There's also a thing that happens at one point in the game. If you're still in like the bottom half of the victory point track, the game says, "You all suck. You're out." And you're just out of the game. And I'd never seen that happen. And he was on the verge of being just out of the game because they were doing so poorly. And I finished it, so I bought my way to victory, which what I'm saying is money is the answer to everything, I guess, is the message of the game. I think you've played it once or twice, right?
Yeah, I played it 2 or 3 times, I think, and it's one of those games I went in expecting not to like it, just to find it meh. I was especially, skeptical of the whole merge thing. It really sounded like, you're out of the game, but you're not really out of the game. You have to limp along kinda thing, and Uh, it's much more interesting than you think it's gonna be. I had heard so many podcasts talk about the game and, either loving or hating the merge mechanic or not having played it yet and being super skeptical
This
of
is
it, which
gonna
makes
be
you
terrible. I could read the
yeah,
rules. It's not good. You know.
exactly. And the thing I like about it is you don't necessarily know who's gonna merge until the last second.
Yep.
Is the scores can be incredibly tight, and suddenly somebody bumps up so that they're in 3rd to last instead of 2nd to last, and
Yeah, which is it's
and so
exactly what happened. Like I
yeah,
suddenly gained in one turn 15 points or something, and
yeah,
they were from zero. But yeah, I don't like that type of. That's not fair. I don't love that type of game. Like I
mm,
just area control is just not. It's not
they're
really
not
my
my
jam.
favorite either. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it more when it's cooperative, like
Mm.
Rise of the Gnomes. Like, I enjoy
Mm,
that more, but the one thing that I hate the most about games, and I've talked about it before, is I hate backstabbing if that's not like the point of the game. Like, I will play Battlestar Galactica. Like, that is the point, and it's not your choice. Like, the game tells you you have to do it. But if, you can just be like, I'm done working with you now. I That is a path for me to be butthurt. And
yeah,
I just know it. I can't help myself. I get and then and if
yeah,
I do it, I feel bad. So, anyhow, but whatever. This one, in general, I like more than all the other Air Clan games I played. I like it more than Chaos in the Old World. I like it more than Blood Rage. I really like it more than Rising Sun. So, it's one that I would totally play again. It's pretty clever. I enjoyed it. All right, so what's the next one on your list, Don?
uh, another really light one, I learned a game called Parade, and I wish I'd written down the designers' names, but, it's a very small game. It's Alice in Wonderland themed, but it's really a themeless game. It's one of those and beer games, as people call them. You can take it anywhere. It's in a little tiny box, and you're just like there's a row of cards out in the middle of the table, and everybody has a hand of cards. And on your turn, you add a card to the end of the parade. And if you add, say, a three, you can ignore the next three cards, and then everything after that, if the number is lower or the color matches your card, you have to take those cards. And you're trying not to take cards in this game. And that's basically the entire game. And it is ridiculously fun compared to how simple it sounds. There's a lot of little strategies in it. Um, you know, it's really satisfying when you can put down a nine and be like, I get to ignore everything. It's just like, it's a lot of fun. But then you realize like two turns later, now there's nine cards out and you've already used your nine and you have to put down a four or something and take like three cards. And those cards go out in front of you, and at the end of the game, they're worth their face value,
Oh, I've
unless
played this.
you probably
Sorry, it
have.
just I played it with Corey Thompson up at, his
Okay.
place. Yeah, he
Yeah.
loves this style of game. Yeah, not it's
Yeah.
wasn't until you described the laying it out in front of you that it clicked. Yeah, I played that. It's a neat
Yeah.
little game.
And then at the end of the game, if you have the most of a color, you get to flip those cards over, and they're worth 1 point each instead of their face value. So there's that little strategy, and there's a little thing at the end where you have your last 4 cards, and you're gonna discard 2 of them and add 2 to your point cards, so you can be hiding that you have the most of a color or something like that. So it's really fun. I wanted to mention it just because it's one that I took to work, a week or so ago. I like to get my
You mean you didn't take the spill?
I did not take the spell. Um, I like to get my coworkers, to play games at lunch, or this was actually a happy hour because we had a couple of people in from out of town, and so we went to grab drinks after work, and I brought this game because my group loves to play games, and so we played this at a brewery across the street from our offices, and it's that kind of game. You can just like we had to wait until food was gone so the middle of the table was clear. But it's the kind of game you can just take out for drinks and play it in the middle of the table, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very pretty game, even though the theme doesn't matter. Just like
That's a really
really
good
pretty
uh,
Alice in Wonderland art.
that's a really good segue into the last one you have when you recently played. So I'm gonna let you jump right in with the food and drinks.
Sure. So I was going to mention Consumption. This is the game by Karen Knobloch, who's a Bay Area designer here.
About tuberculosis, right?
Yeah. It's about diet, and exercise and all of that. Everybody has a different diet. A player board that represents a different diet, and there are different activities you can do. We've probably talked about this game at some point in the past, but
Yeah.
there are different types of food, and your diet wants or hates those types of food, and you're you're shopping, you're going out to eat, you're cooking at home, you're exercising to use up food, and like every time you consume food, it goes into your body, into the different categories, and then when you exercise, you use up certain types of food, and so you're trying to get the right balance that your diet calls for. The
Yeah,
funniest one
everybody,
is
that is the most boring sounding thing you've ever heard. It is so fun,
it is so fun. Yeah,
and it's
it's
also
just
it's so unforgiving. And I know I've told this story, but I'll say it again because it just makes Corey Thompson hang his head in shame. The last time I played it with Karen, the designer, she finished 108 points. I finished with like 95. Corey's kid finished with like 72 or 85, something like that, and then Corey had 6. 'Cause he just blew his diet. Because if your diet is too bad, you have too much sugar or whatever, you start getting negative points, and he just had all the negative points. And it's a really clever little game. It's one that, and I know I've said this too, it's the only time or the best example when someone said, "Hungry gamer, you gotta play my game about food," and I was like, "Ugh." And it was so good. I bought her copy from her at that moment. I was like, "Let me
Yeah.
buy this." It's such a clever game. I wish more people were playing it.
It's a recent game for us just because I finally taught it to my family. It's been sitting here at the house for since I bought it a while back, and, a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago, finally
I think
taught
we
it to
played
them.
it at DungeonCon or something, and then you bought
Yep,
it like right after that, and
yep,
it's been sitting
yep,
around. And
yeah.
did the family like it?
Yeah, in fact, they insisted on playing it again the next day, which doesn't ever happen, so,
Wow.
yeah, so it's great. It's a worker placement game, by the way, I didn't mention that. You're competing for spots at, the pizza place, the Chinese restaurant, the grocery store, and so on, and the more people that go to the grocery store, the less stuff there is available, so that that little competition is really interesting,
Yeah, and then
and
you
then
can go to
you're
the farmer's market, but you never know what's
mhm,
gonna be at the farm. It's all very, very clever. It's
yeah,
and my favorite thing, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. One of the exercises you can get is hacky sack. And you know what
yes,
hacky sack will burn? 1 glass of wine.
mhm,
Nothing else. But you'll burn 1 glass of wine if you do some hacky sack. So, which I just like the exercises you can do is like bowling, fencing, basketball, hacky sack. It's just it's so silly and it's so great. I love it. All right, moving into what's on your table next. No, I got 2 of them listed because I don't know what's going to happen this week. So, if people come down and hang out on Halloween, I always try to play Triora, City of Witches. It's this I think it's a Brazilian designer, and it's just this really clever closed economy Euro game where you're trying to avoid the Inquisition because you can be out of that game. If the Inquisition catches you too many times, they will burn you and you're out. But it's this great Halloween theme because the idea is the Inquisition has burned the Witch Mother, and you weren't doing anything. Like you were not doing bad witch stuff. Like you were just living your life. But now you're like, well, if we're getting blamed for it, let's do it. And then you're going all destroying the town and corrupting the nobility. And it's a game it's got just a little bit too much to it, but it's really, really satisfying. It has the coolest resource management thing because you're using herbs to make these potions. And so you have to harvest your herbs. And that you have this little four quadrant little circle. You harvest the herbs and you move them to one side, which means you can use them to make potions. When you use them to make potions, you move them down to the bottom left side of the circle, and now they're just seeds. And then you can take another action and you slide them over to the bottom right side, which says you have planted the seeds. And then when the full round ends, you slide all the ones that are planted back up. Now they can be harvested again. So, but you
so it's a
can never
farming
get
game.
more. Huh?
It's
What's
a
that?
farming game.
A little bit, yeah, but it's so satisfying. It's a very because it's you get I think it's 3 of each color herb, and that's it. So it's a
Hmm,
real balance trying to figure out how you operate that. So it's a very clever game. But if I don't get to play that one, which is possible because my wife's gonna be out of town and stuff, I just got this game here called Solacia, The Wizard of Doom, a solitaire fantasy game. And this designer, Mike Lambo, I'd never heard of him, but in the course of like 2 years, he's put out like 15 of these like game book things. And somebody in one of the Facebook groups was all excited about getting it. And I was like, what is that? And the whole thing's in the book. It's got little maps for your adventure and it just looks really cool. The only thing that's holding me back from playing it yet is you actually have to cut a page out of the back of the book and glue it on like cardboard so you have your tokens.
thing.
Yeah, so but it looked really neat, and he was kind enough to send one out to me when I reached out to him. So it's the type of
What was
thing that
that?
I what's that?
What was that called again?
It's called Solacia, the Wizard of Doom, and
Okay,
it's
interesting.
you just pick them up off of Amazon, and he has a ton of them. And it's funny, so when
Hmm.
someone posted about it, I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "It's the new Mike Lambo game." And I was like, "Who's Mike Lambo?" And they're like, "You're an idiot." And so that's what
Hmm.
kind of led me down this path. So here I am. So those are well, one of those is the next thing that I'm going to play. All right, what's next on your table? I think you have something that I'm excited about.
I have optimistically put Wayfarers of the South Tigris as the
Oh yes,
next
that's right. I
game
was super excited about it
on my
because it means
table.
that you're going to play it 10 times. That's right.
Yeah, I've actually put that and Scholars on the list, and this is if I can get people from the family to the table tomorrow and convince them to play both games back to back, which means I need to refresh myself on Wayfarers and learn Scholars at some point today. So we will
Okay,
see.
if I
I think if
remember,
nothing else, I will play Wayfarers solo
uh,
tomorrow.
Wayfarers, if I remember, that was it's like tableau building worker placement. Is that what that was? 'Cause I played it once with you,
Yes. Yeah,
and it's
you're kind of building out an exploration. Like this whole series is about knowledge, and it's set in the Middle East, and it's all about the the rulers sending out the wayfarers are going out to find knowledge, and then the scholars game is about translating that knowledge from different languages. And so it's all about amassing knowledge and education. Um, it's all centered around Baghdad, I believe, and so I like the theme. It's of course very abstract when you're playing, but the theme is kind of cool, and it's got the usual, Shem Phillips worker placement, iconography kind of stuff that is really pleasant to me. I really enjoy kind of how organized his games are.
what is the what kind of mechanics do scholars have? Do you know yet? Because I know
I
you
don't
knew
know
when
that.
you backed it, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. All these games are about dice placement, and they're all about you. I know their pitch for this series when they first announced it was that it was about unique ways to use dice. So it's all about dice placement, and I think there's no rolling of dice or very little rolling of dice. It's more about just changing the numbers. No, I have not read the book yet for Scholars, and it has been a while since the campaign.
Yeah, so have a vague recollection of that. And dice placement is one of my is my probably my favorite type of worker placement. I just
Mhm.
I really enjoy it. All right, but enough of that. And so you may have noticed at the beginning, I didn't tell you what game we were going to talk about because we don't actually have one to talk about today. We just haven't connected enough lately playing a game enough times to feel good about reviewing something. So, in light of that, we might take a little bit longer talking about our Kickstarter proclivities that we have. But more importantly, right now, it is the channel membership bump. You should do it or not, but it's a thing. Check out the description.
That's the thing.
It is done. All right. So we're talking about today about the stuff that we are currently backing on Kickstarter or GameFound. No Indiegogos, no backer kits, because we are not barbarians. And the only kind of rule we had was it's got to have at least like 4 days left. So in theory, if you are one of the lucky few that listens to or watches this right away, you can still get in on it. So it looks like I have more that I'm in on right now than you do. So I'll start first. And so the first one that I have is called Flame and Fang. And that is a deck management game, hand management game, whatever you want to call it. It's not a deck builder because you're anytime you bring something in, you're throwing it out. Where the game starts and you are dragons that have hatched, and then it is kind of surviving in this kind of cruel, unforgiving world. It's kind of generic fantasy type world, and you're moving around these tiles and you're doing some basic Euro type things. You're getting resources which allow you to activate your cards and fight monsters, and there is I think it's like an 8 or 9 little scenarios that you can play through that you can kind of jump in wherever you want. And it's designed by Michael Kelly and Peter Goosis, who are the power behind One Stop Co-op Shop. And so I've gotten to play several times with them. And it is a really cool game, and I've played it over many years now. So I've kind of got to see where it has grown, how it's changed, and it's really clever. And it's like $39. So it's pretty darn cheap. And yeah, I'm really high on it, and I wish it was doing better. Um, but Kickstarters. It's hard to kind of get those. And I don't think I played this one with you or even talked about this one with you. Are you looking at it right
No, I
now?
don't know it. It sounds interesting. No, I was just listening to you talk.
Oh my gosh, what a guy! See, it's why Don is the best. The But yeah, so I think it's really worth checking out, everybody. I think it's very clever. It's very fun. All right, so what's your first one? I know we actually have two of them that are overlapping here.
Yeah, and those are the 2 that are on my list. It's been a quiet Kickstarter season for me. Just I have, let's just say, more than 20 projects still on the way from the last few years of Kickstarter game found fun. So I have been slowing down a bit.
Well,
So
your shelves. Thank you.
yes, they've been complaining and saying, "Hey, you need to do a purge," which I hate doing, but I'm trying to do that right now. So I've slowed down quite a bit. I'm being very picky. The first one I was going to talk about is one that we both have on our list, which is the latest characters for the Red Dragon Inn, which I think is, oh, it's way up there. It's a game that you and I both love. It's For anybody that's not familiar, it's the theme of the game is you are playing a party, an adventuring party after the adventure, and you're hanging out at the inn, and it's called the Red Dragon Inn, and you are drinking and fighting, and the last person who is conscious and or has not been kicked out of the bar is the winner. And so you're playing cards to give each other drinks to increase alcohol content or to fight with each other to lower your is it constitution.
Yeah,
Those are my
it
fortitude.
should ever your constitution and
Yeah,
your alcohol scores meet, you have passed out.
yeah, yeah. So you have fortitude that starts high and alcohol content that starts low, and if the two ever meet, you pass out. You also have money, and there's gambling, and if you ever run out of money, they kick you out of the Red Dragon Inn because you're no good to them anymore. So um, that's basically the whole premise of the game. But every character is completely unique, asymmetric, and you know they're getting more and more creative with them. I don't know how many characters there are now, 30,
I think
40.
it's like 55 or something.
Okay, even
It's
more. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's so many.
yeah,
And
so they Red Dragon Inn 9 just delivered,
yep,
and
which I
every
haven't even opened yet. I haven't even opened it, and I'm already backing the next one.
it was already played at my house. My son Adrian had a birthday party last week, and they played all 5 of the new characters.
Oh,
And
there's
each
5 in
edition of
there?
the game comes with, yeah, there are 5 in this one. Usually they come with 4. And then they sell all these individual or pairs in between the editions of the game. So that's why they have something like 55. And these latest 2 are Melvin versus Mara. And I'll be honest, I have not really dug into what they do or how the characters
Nope,
play.
not
I
at
just
all.
knew I was backing
One
them
of
right
them
away.
is like an elf that apparently is like gone bad, and the other is
Mm,
like a bull or horse or something other.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
got a big
I
mane, so it must be a horse.
yeah, it's a pure take that game. Like that is it. It is
Hmm.
take that, and it's you're gonna be mean, and that's it, and then you're gonna be out.
Yeah,
It's one that yeah, I really enjoy. It's one of the first games I got. I absolutely do not need to keep backing it at all. I have plenty. And
yeah,
yet, here
and
we
yet
are. Yeah, here
I
we
have
are.
resisted the metal components that they're now introducing with every campaign.
Yep, I didn't do that, though you were nice enough to buy me at a con a big chunky metal coin, which is used for the gambling only, which is
It's
great.
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the metal. I have metal coins, but yes, I did not get all the metal stuff. I was tempted to. I was like, "Well, I'll just get it," and I'm like, "Stop it! Just
Yeah.
stop
Yeah,
it!"
it's basically like you can pay double, and instead of cardboard components for the characters, you get metal components, and it's cool, but you're paying double for the
Yeah.
game, so
Well,
I've had to
they do
resist.
something that I find. I don't know if they're doing it on this one, but for most of their deluxes, oh yeah, the deluxes, they straight up tell you, so like, look, you're giving us a tip if you want this. Like that's what this is about. Like this is you want
Yeah,
to support us and you're gonna give us more money because no, the math isn't gonna add up on this. And they're very
yeah,
upfront about it, which
and
is
more power to them. I
yeah,
like it.
yeah, they're good. They're good people. They're good people. I've gotten to do a couple streams with them. They didn't invite me on a stream for this one, so I guess I'm out. I'm on the outs, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, they're nice people. I enjoy them. Fun game. It's great. So next one for me is called Wondrous Creatures. And this one is the follow-up to Life of the Amazonia, which Doug, when we did dialing it in, got me to back. And I thought you back too, but I guess you decided since I had it you didn't need it. And
Yeah.
we played it, we liked that one, and they reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to cover the new one, Wondrous Creatures, which has the most ridiculous creatures. It's a tableau building game, and it looks like it's an area control game because you're putting your meeples, and there's magnetic meeples, I will say, and they ride wondrous critters, and you put them out onto the board. But that's how you are collecting your resources. But in what I've never seen before is usually you put a on those types of things, you put something down, whatever you put your meeple on top of, that's what you get. But not this one. It's everything around it. So you're strategically placing it to where you're getting the most things that are around your meeple. And you get to choose, do you want the resource that you need to play the cards, or you can draw more cards based on the location that's around you. And then when you play the cards, a lot of them just have instant effects, but a lot of them are when you kind of refresh everything, and you can do maybe 6 refreshes in the game, or they're in-game scoring cards. It's a really, really clever game. I got to preview. That's why I'm talking so much about it. But it's a really clever game. My wife enjoyed it, and the only kind of knock that I have on it is the same knock that I have on Life of the Amazonia. It's a slow starting game. Like I don't know if you remember, but it was I don't know a third of the way through the game in Amazonia before we started feeling like we were doing something every turn. And it's the same thing. Like it just starts slow. It's a slow build, and so you're into that or you're not. But the art is just amazing, and the critters are amazing, and it's really cool.
I'm really tempted by this one. I may take another look. I know you'll have a copy, and I can always play the game with you. But I'm a sucker for magnets in games.
Yep.
It
And
just
and I will say
any
I do
clever
still
use of
have the
magnets.
prototype. I do still have it. This
Hmm.
is one, and I will always send a prototype on, and usually I will say, where do you want me to send this? I haven't said that yet. So I didn't offer to send it on yet. I will. And now they're probably
Yeah,
watching this, so now they know. But I will send it on happily, but I haven't yet because my wife loved it so much, all the way up until I won, and then she didn't like that. But very, very clever game. I'm pretty high on it. And since you only have one more, I'm going to go ahead and jump in with my other one that I'm doing right now,
sure.
and this one's going to be quick. It's called Old King's Crown, and this is a kind of bidding slash bluffing style game that looks pretty cool. But I'm not gonna lie, I am backing this 100% because Mark Dainty from Not Board Gaming said I absolutely have to. It's really, really good, and even playing solo, it's really, really good. And this is a bluffing game, and he said the bluffing game is really good solo. So I'm like, okay, I'm in. So I'm in on it, and if I don't like it, blame the British dude. Have you
Always
looked at this
blame
one
the
at all?
British. I've not looked at it at all, and I'm really confused by bluffing solo. So
Right?
I'd like to know more about it.
Yeah, and that's what I should do. I should be responsible, but nope, not me. All right, so that comes into your last one, which I'm also backing, but I'm gonna let you talk about it because I've been going on.
Yeah, and of course, we're going to talk about Critter Kitchen from Cardboard Alchemy. Anybody who watches this channel knows that we know the folks at Cardboard Alchemy. We love the folks at Cardboard Alchemy. They're friends. So uh, take that as you will. Critter Kitchen is sort of the follow up to Flamecraft. You just did a preview for it
Yeah, I like
for
that.
the
I think of it as like
campaign.
a spiritual successor almost,
Yeah,
mostly
it's a
because it's the same
completely different
artist.
game.
Yeah,
It's about the same weight. It's a little bit crunchier than Flamecraft. It's the same artist. It's the same publisher, slash developer slash
yeah.
project manager
It's
type
got the same
folks. So
feel
yeah,
of kind of welcoming, friendly. We're all going to do this thing.
yeah. So if you're not familiar with it at all, Critter Kitchen is it's a blind worker placement. I think they're calling it. So you're choosing locations. You have three different workers who, if they're smaller, they're faster. but they carry less. And if they're larger, they're slower and they carry more. And so you're taking turns placing at locations, and you don't know what everybody else is placing at that location. And oh no, you're doing all of this with cards, and then
Yeah,
everybody reveals at once, and you put your characters out. So you don't know who's going where. So you might put your boar, which is the biggest worker, out, and then find out three people put their mice in front of you, and they're going to take all the stuff before you get anything. Or you might be the only one there, and you get like your
tons of
maximum
stuff.
number of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
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 and
that's
it's
one
a
of the blind worker placement. I love that mechanic. It's the same thing.
yeah,
Well, like with
it's really clever.
Guildmaster does the same thing, which and I just think it's great because it's all about that. The line from the play line in Winter. It's like, I know, I know, I know, and Don knows we know it. And this whole thing of like you start doing dumb stuff because you're like, they're gonna go and take that thing. I don't want to go take that thing, and they're gonna get it, and I can't get it, so I'm just gonna go over here and get soup. Like what? You know?
Yeah, and the action selection in Coloma is the same thing. Everybody's
Mhm.
kind of blindly saying where they're going to go on the wheel, and then if multiple people go in the same space, it busts, and everybody says, "I, you said you were going there." So it's like that. Theme wise, Critter Kitchen is about making food. There's a celebrity chef coming to town at the end of the week, and so you're trying to collect the right goods to give them exactly the kind of dish that they want. You don't necessarily know what they want, but there are ways to get to like hear rumors during the game and get some tips on what they like. Mostly, you want the ingredients that you gather to be the highest value ingredients, and each type of ingredient comes out in different values in the shops. And meanwhile, every day there is a competition that day where you're making a meal for that day. So you've got this push pull of, do I want to gather ingredients to use today, or do I want to be saving for the end of the week? Ideally, you're doing both. Um, that's kind of the flow of the game. It moves quickly. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of room for analysis paralysis in this game. I don't know. I find it really satisfying. If you're gathering goods, you're doing something with those goods right away, or you're building up toward a big win at the end, and getting those rumors is fun. Like it's not one of those memory kind of things. You can always go look at it again, but you know that they really like fish or something like that, and so it's a lot of fun. And they're building so much content into this game.
Yeah, there's so
They
many
just keep
modules.
announcing new chefs, new celebrity chefs, new what do they call them? Zoo chefs, who are
Yeah.
the characters that can help you. Yeah. Um, Peter Vaughn is the best at project management at Corporate Alchemy, and so uh, I will probably back anything that he works on. But you and I have both had a chance to play this game quite a bit, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's, what really, makes it stand out for me is just all the different modules, just all the different things you can
Mhm.
add. Because, like, you can really play this one with almost anybody. I'm not gonna say it's a gateway game because there's a little more crunch to it, but it's
Yeah.
like half a step with no modules in there, it's like half a step up from that. Like,
Mhm.
you can get through it, and then if you put everything in there, it becomes, a light medium game. Plays quick. Yeah, it's fun, it's clever, and it's doing really well on Kickstarter, so they're unlocking all kinds of stuff, as you were saying. Like, I don't
Yep.
know, I think it's like $300,000 right now after, like, 3 days, something like that. So, I don't know, I'm probably just I'm making up a number, but that feels right. It feels right to me. Okay,
I
I'm
think
gonna
it was
look.
at 400,000 last time I
Is
looked.
it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Alright, I gotta look right now. Not that it matters because it's gonna come out and it's not gonna be the same. Alright, let's see. It is currently at, holy smoke, $425,000. Wow. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of games. Anyhow, so there's a bunch of games for everybody for you to check out. A couple of them are ending in a few days. So, jump on there, check them out though. Everything is late pledge nowadays, but just, you know, see what's up, see what's going on. Uh, they're all fun. They're all worth checking out. And we're going to end it there today. A shorter episode. And the only thing that's left is, Don, for you to give us your gaming words of wisdom.
Was not prepared. Um, I was talking a little bit about playing games with coworkers, and I think what I'll say is know your audience. If you're writing a paper, if you're getting ready to give a speech, a big presentation, the rule number one is always know your audience. Don't get into the weeds on something where people just need to understand the 50,000-foot level. Uh, I think the same applies with gaming. And I'll say when I first started bringing games to show to my coworkers, I think the very first time I said, "Hey, let's go to the brewery across the street and play a game after work." And the game that I brought was Manhattan Project Energy Empire, and it's one of my favorite games. It's fantastic, but this was a bunch of non-gamers, and I brought this pretty crunchy euro, and we were there for 3+ hours, and I just exhausted them. Um, I tried to do the same thing with Dwellings of Eldervale when I had just the prototype during the campaign, and just like we had to call that game, and it was only a 3-player game, but it was like, yeah, you know what? I've got to go take my kids to something. I don't remember what it
Yeah,
was, but
I gotta do anything.
yeah.
That's
But I have downshifted to a lot of lighter fare, and just things that are a little less. You know, Fistful of Meeples has gone over well. It doesn't have to be a super simple, mass market game, but there's a lot of fun stuff out there. Parade went over well the other day. I've not taken trophies to work, but trophies is a great game for just about
yeah.
anybody.
The only problem with that is it gets loud.
It does get loud. Yeah,
Yep.
it has to be the right group.
Yeah.
So
Well,
know your
you know,
audience, prepare for the level of
yeah,
players you're
and
going for.
it's
You'll have
something
more
that I've
fun.
been even trying to do with my gaming buddies. Like for example, like I did not invite you to come play War of Whispers because
Thank you.
you might have come, but you would have been sad, you know, the whole time. Just like
Yeah.
with Streamline Matt, like I don't invite him to play many Euros anymore because it's just not his thing. And it was funny when we were realized that we had 5 people. Tony said, "Oh, we could play Everdell," and I told him, I said, "Look, man, Matt would rather be in a Saw movie than play Everdell. Like that would be more preferable to him." So we shifted, but yeah, I think too many of us forget about that, and we just get whatever new toy we got. Oh, we have to play this game. Well, maybe not. You know, and along with that, the other thing I says, it's okay to play a game again. Like like some friends of mine, we played Parks like 9 times, and now they've moved on to other stuff. But you don't always do that. Like we have game days. How like we don't usually play the same game over and over again, but it's okay.
No. Yeah. So yeah, repeat plays are good, especially for those non-gamer groups that you're trying to have fun with.
Yep, absolutely. I've been trying to actually do more repeat plays myself. I really enjoy it. It's very satisfying. Anyhow, that does it for us today. So everybody, as always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. Make sure you get your copy of Backyard Chickens if you don't already have it. It is like the number 2 chicken game on BGG, so you can
Out of that.
barely top that. Only one game can top that. Okay. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. So you excited for your Halloween party today?
I'm not on to it.
What? It's in your house. What are you gonna do?
Oh, let's be around. It's a big house. It's like Cthulhu's eating the moon's brain.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.